Yo, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another pre-season episode of All to Know Better. We don't have a fucking clue what episode. I don't even know if you heard that because it's only just started recording, but good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode, a pre-season episode of All to Know Better. I haven't got a fucking clue what number we're on because it's pre-season. Nobody really gives a fuck, really. But you may notice that tonight I'm joined by resident Jimmy Neutron lookalike, Mr. Smarty. And then we've drafted in an old friend of mine who I actually grew up playing rugby with, big Leeds fan, Mr. Daniel Chapman. Thanks for joining us, Daniel.
Evening.
How are you doing? All right?
All right, sound, yeah.
Good stuff, good stuff. We're popping his Viagra, popping his podcast virginity tonight. I don't know. I hope it's not Viagra.
Balance slightly.
We're popping his podcast Viagra. But before we get into any chat about what the fuck's been going on, we'll run the intro.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
You may well notice that is a new and improved introduction video done by yours truly, Gilly, who's not decided to join us tonight either because I think he's a little bit busy with work. So if things don't go quite to plan tonight in terms of the IT and the technical side of things, it's because Gilly's not here. Good evening, Tom. Thanks for joining. But yeah, it's not really a lot to talk about. I think probably the best place to start is did anyone watch the friendly the other day versus Blackpool? I didn't catch it. I was out and about, so I did get updated. But you both watched it. I'll start with you then, Danny, since you've joined us and very kindly giving up your Tuesday evening. What did you like the look of? What I mean, we obviously won the game quite comfortably. Was it 4-0? I think it finished.
Yeah.
So what stood out? What are you looking forward to seeing more of this season?
I thought first half there were lots of positives. I thought we played well in first half. I liked that Mark Rocker in midfield. He seemed to control tempo. He was dropping back into back four at times and covered in. Seems good on ball. Likes a pass. No dangerous passing. He was nice and safe. Kept possession. Firpo, I thought Junior Firpo played well going forward. Defended well, but obviously it was only against Blackpool. But going forward, he looked a massive threat down left-hand side. Who else? Cody Drama looked well. Plenty of pace on right. Attacking wise, looks a quick kid him. Gellart were dropping into 10 position and picking it ball up and running at defenders. He were positive. That second half when we started bringing substitutes on, and that want us organised. Really, we didn't keep possession as well. Blackpool had a couple of sniffs, but all in all, for the first run out, I thought it was pretty positive. Yeah,
good stuff. You just mentioned there. I'll come on to you in a sec, Smarty, but one thing you mentioned positives was obviously Firpo and Drama. Obviously Firpo hasn't travelled to Australia. There was talk of Leif Davis leaving in. Only a week or so ago, I think, going to Ipswich for around about £1 million.
Yeah.
Would you say then? Because I mean, I've had this conversation and a couple of chats and that. I mean, Smarty, what would you say in terms of back up in that position, left back? Would you say if we've got a bit of money left over, it's a key area we need to strengthen?
I'd say there's no wrong with having some backup, but I don't think, like Dan said, then Firpo, I'd like to think that there's a player in there somewhere. We've said this about so many players over the last few seasons. It's one of them. Is he another Tyler Roberts? But yeah, going forward, like Dan said, I thought it was brilliant. But the lad just can't stop. You couldn't stop a pig in a ginnel, could he? I mean, I don't know. Folk might not know what a ginnel is. It depends where you're from. But yeah, I think I'd like to see Firpo there. It's a shame about Leif Davis as well. I've not heard that. I also didn't know that Firpo hadn't travelled to Australia. That is new news. But
I've been busy, haven't you?
I've had my head in the sand over the last couple of weeks, so yeah, apologies. So yeah, I don't even know, but yeah, probably. I think if we can push the boat out, then yeah. But I think from what we've got on already, and I know we'll discuss this a little bit later on, I'm pretty happy with the signings and stuff. But you know, if a good opportunity comes up that you know it's a must buy or Christ, that's a good deal. You know, if he's available or whatever, and you know, if fits the bill, then you know why not? Good to have.
I think it's going to be interesting to see what formation he's going to play, though. If he's not buying another left back, is he intended on playing 3 centre halves and 2 wing backs? Do you know what I mean?
It's good.
It just seems strange, doesn't it? It seems strange why he's not buying a backup left back. It's Leif Davis in Premier League quality. He want Championship quality.
No, he struggled at Bournemouth, didn't he? How did he start? Was it 4-2-3-1 the other night?
Yeah, he had Rocker and he had that young Archie Gray sitting in midfield. What I could gather, he played well. Did Archie Gray? To be fair to him,
yeah,
he's a special talent, isn't he?
He is. And just on Archie Gray, while we're on that, actually, there's Jesse Marsh has obviously got some critics again this week when he's mentioned. I was going to come on to that, Tom. Actually, I did mention that, but just on Archie Gray before we do. He's obviously got his critics around that because he said he wants to lift the Champions League with him, or been quoted as saying something along those lines with Archie Gray and Jesse Marsh. Do you think that's putting a little bit? Do you think that's positive or negative, or does it depend on the person? Dan, we've obviously played rugby to an half decent standard, going up and that.
Positive, isn't it? Yeah, you got.
I think so.
Positive. You've always got to look at stars, haven't you? At the end of the day, if you haven't got no ambition, what's point in being at game? You know.
Yeah, not Gilly, sorry, but I can't remember who it was. I was having a conversation in actually the Auto No Better chat, and we have some heated debates in there, as Smarty will probably confirm. There's lots of digging and that goes on and crying by Jay. But basically there was probably half of us saying similar. You've got to have that positive outlook, and he might not ever get to play in a Champions League game at all, but to actually give him the confidence to say that he's good enough to do that, I think has got to be positive. But I also think some players, I don't know, for an example, I don't know, somebody, one of these players who thinks they're it, they probably need stripping back a little bit. But I think he looks like quite a modest type lad and modest player. He's obviously got family who've grown up in the game, who've kept him quite grounded. And yeah, I think that's a positive. What did you make of it, Smart? Did you see it as a positive, or do you think it might restrict him a bit or put too much pressure on the lad?
I mean, you can take it. I mean, it depends who you are and what sort of person you are. You know, I think it's a positive. We've seen it, over the years. We've had James Milner pushing through the ranks. And another Byram, Cook, Taylor. All them sort of youth sort of prospects that are coming through at a young age. Granted, obviously Archie Gray's, I think he's 16 still, nearly 17.
Yeah,
he only just
he has to get changed in a separate changing room for safeguarding reasons.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he's a young age, but if he's ready, he's ready. If he's ready, he's ready. And he carries himself well. He plays well. He's got a very a good modern, mature head on him as well. Back looks and sky's the limit for the kid if he's ready. And if Jesse Marsh thinks that he's ready. I went a bit Dutch then. If he's ready and the coach thinks he's ready, go coach. Then
in a couple of years' time, be interesting, won't it? When he starts filling out and maturing, he gets a bit of weight.
It's just about managing him. It's just about managing him and making sure, like, he's kept to an even keel and don't get a bit too ahead of yourself, don't get too big for your boots and all that sort of stuff, and just managing his game time. Don't let him do too much. And then
different kind of managers, isn't there? At the end of the day, and it seems to me like Jesse March is one of these who likes a bit of one-on-one. You know what I mean? There's some coaches like Bielsa. His actions spoke. You know what I mean? He didn't get close. He didn't seem to get close to players, did he? No. But this Jesse March seems to like a bit of one-on-one. He looks like he's a bit of a good motivator, doesn't he? Some players sometimes when you tell them the world beaters, they excel.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And the Americans, I mean, by in terms of personality, and I might be being a little bit stereotypically, but they generally like the lip service. They're good at speaking. They say the right things to the right people at the right times. And I think I mean, personally, I think it'll do his career the world of good to be thrown in there. And give him an opportunity. And if he thinks he's good enough, ultimately, that's who it's up to. It's not up to John off Twitter or Dave off Facebook to say he's too young. Like, if he comes in and has an absolute barnstorming season, he'll be worth 20, 30 million quid at 16, 17 year old. Do you know what I mean?
That's a big thing, that. You don't want to be starting banding numbers around now, fuck me.
No, I mean, we'll come on to that in a minute, numbers. Yeah. But yeah, just going back to left back, Tom made a great point here. How are we not after Tagliafico from Ajax for an estimated 4 million? Now, I don't know why he's been touted as being available for so cheap. He's a great player. He starts regularly for Ajax. He's a real top player. Don't have a clue is the answer to that one, Tom. I don't know why we're not in for him at £4 million. I don't know what his salary is like or anything like that, but there must be a particular reason why teams, because nobody's signed him yet. Nobody. So yeah,
you have to go study what you're signing, don't you? With egos and right person has to fit into environment. And there's him at Stoke, into that young left back. Is it Tyson or something like that young left back? I don't know if it's worth going out and getting someone like that, someone young as a backup. Josh Timon, isn't it? Something like that, yeah. He's highly regarded. Like, but Helder, he's done not wrong on Helder when he's played. He hasn't put a foot wrong on that kid.
No. Yeah, Helder, yeah. Sorry, yeah, but
but then put a foot wrong him.
But then the conversation I had the other day about this left back particular position with Firpo being out was. Do we want to go back down that road and putting square pegs in round holes? You know, he's a centre back. As a strike, they're both centre backs.
Another thing at Alminch, that Christensen can play left back apparently.
How can he?
Apparently he can play. That Rasmus Christensen can play left back. Yeah.
And I've heard as well that they've been. I don't know how true it is because I don't visit the training sessions, but that Drama's been playing there as well and lining up there in training. So I don't think we're out of options, but for me, based on the season Firpo had last season as well, I expect him to be better this season. But based on his performances last season, I would have liked, I think, being greedy, to have somebody at the level of Christensen, but on the left-hand side, I think. And I think that's just being greedy. One quick question I've got actually for you both, while we're on the subject of left back, right backs. Why do you see right-footed left backs? But I bet you right now you can't name me a left-footed right back.
Can
10
you?
seconds.
Can't. He used to. I'll tell you, used to do it. That David Santon, who played at Newcastle, he was left-footed, wasn't he? He sometimes played right back. Yeah. It was a rare commodity, though.
Yeah, but I wonder why you don't see it, though. Whereas you
get left-footed right wingers, don't you? So
yeah. That's a little bit different because they're cutting in
attacking wise, isn't it?
Foot. Yeah.
But Firpo, going back to Firpo again, last year there were glimpses there. It's just it's his bloody positional sense, man.
Hang on a minute. Have we just got some official news here? Can somebody just look that up? Is it official?
All right.
No, I've not had out flash up on my phone. You're not a Twitter agent, are you, Derek? By any chance?
Good price we got for him.
Yeah. Right, we will come on to that in a second, though. Right, we'll just go back to the game and Smarty. Positives and negatives to take out of that, Blackpool.
I don't see any negatives really. I mean, I know obviously we didn't do as well in second half as we did in first half. It's kind of hard to see how we'll set up from obviously half of players, like, you know, especially as new players not being there, you know, returning from international duty and stuff. But there is something there, and I feel there was actually a game plan, and they played to a game plan rather than the headless chicken sort of oh shit sort of play that we did last season in Premier League. It seemed like we knew what we were doing, which is a massive plus, because that's basically what we were fearing at the end of last season. Is this style of play cannot carry on into next season. This headless chicken style of play cannot carry on. Second half, like I say, introduction of a lot of youth and stuff like that. So it's like an FA Cup match, innit? When you start throwing a lot of youth on and stuff like that, it kind of goes a little bit to pot. But yeah, you can't really. I'm not gonna comment on that too much.
We have to remember about last season. Jesse, I know things looked a bit unorganised, but Jesse March, he came in with one objective, and that was keep Leeds in Premier League. And
I appreciate that.
I've been on about this today with a few mates at racing. They were boring now. They were crap. They were shite. So yeah, but he came in with one objective: to keep us in league, and he kept us in league. To be fair to the bloke, didn't he?
We've discussed this, Matt, loads, mate. We all agree that he came in to do a job, keep us up, and that's that.
Yeah.
What was the style of football like? Was it very much similar to what we were playing toward the end of last season, or was it a lot more controlled and a little bit more sort of disciplined, shall I say?
I thought Rocker were important.
Did he control the pace of the game, from what I understand?
Everything,
took the sting out of it when it needed it, and that.
Everything.
He seemed to be playing a very, very similar to how, not necessarily a pivot, but a deep line role, very similar to how Calvin Phillips played for Bielsa. Sort of like lurking in a centre-back sort of position and then pushing further up. But the guy were feeding balls through their defence from where our centre-backs were. They were pinging balls.
He's one of them players. He didn't break sweat. He didn't break a sweat. It was so easy and natural.
Just cool, calm, collected, casual, ping, 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 just pinging balls here, there, and ever. We did play quite narrow, not too much width.
Yeah, we did.
That's his style anyway. But it were good to watch. I mean, I didn't watch it really, really intently, if I'm totally honest. I was kind of half watching it, half doing something else. But yeah, it was good. I was quite impressed.
I knew Rocker when he played in La Liga.
Was it Sochi that he played for?
Yeah, he was. No, but Espanyol.
Yeah,
he was really highly regarded. You know, when he went to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, well,
really, Guillaume Balaguer and everybody used to sing his praises.
Yeah, well, you look at the players he was behind at Bayern Munich, and you can see why he weren't getting much game time. You know, you're not going to displace Kimmich and Goretzka,
and they're always fit.
Exactly, and even when they weren't, they pushed Alaba into that role. So, like, you know, you got literally world class players you're trying to displace. He was brought in to sort of support those. Which
you see, when you've got at Munich, you've got 3 players like that, and you've got a good defense, you've got good strikers. They don't get injured because they don't have to do much bloody work. It's so easy for them and natural to them.
Yeah, they've got a great side.
The control possession, they don't break a bloody sweat. It's easy. Whereas he's come to Leeds now, and he's going to have to do a bit of graft, isn't he?
He is. He is. And I think when you look, just going, I know we spoke about Calvin on the last episode, so I don't want to get too much into Calvin and the fee and that. But when you look at how we've potentially replaced him with 2 pivots in Adams and Rocky, you can see that's probably going to work for us. And arguably in Jesse Marsh's system, it's going to be those 2 in there is going to be far more beneficial than what Calvin would have been in there. And we would have almost wasted Calvin in there.
I agree.
You know, so yeah. I mean, in terms of the new signings, did any of the other new signings play? Who else played? Rocker? Did Christensen play?
No.
It
was I think it was only Rocker what played, wasn't it?
Yeah, Aronson, none of them.
No, not a new signings by Rocker. He's been training. He's been training pretty much since word go on it since he signed.
Yeah, he got offered chance, didn't he? Whether he wanted to have a couple of weeks off or come straight in, and he came straight in, didn't he?
See, I like that.
He's been training all season. He's been training all season. He took a lot of them do nowadays anyway, don't they? He took a personal trainer away with him on holiday and we're training. Yeah. So he's fit and fiddly. There we go.
I do like that. Smart, have you checked this? Just check.
Yeah, I've just checked it. Yeah, Derek's right. Fab has said Rafinha to Barcelona. Here we go. Usual shit. Full agreement reached with Leeds after today's bid accepted. 58 million euros fixed fee plus add-ons up to a total of 67 million package.
Is that euros?
Yeah, euros. Rafinha only wanted Barcelona since February and is set to sign until June 2027. Time for documents and contracts. So yeah, there you go. We won't see the other fucking extra bits, will we? We'll probably not see much of that transfer fee from there, but
they'll be bankrupt then.
We'll probably get about 13 quid worth out of them.
They'll be bankrupt.
And a bag of rainbow drops.
Yeah, shoots and fucking midget gems. Cheers.
That's it. Right. So while we're on that, then let's discuss it because it's obviously breaking news. Let's discuss Rafinha, arguably, in my opinion, and I hope you'd agree, probably the most exciting player since that Australian Judas bastard. In terms of his natural ability, his excitement, his skill, and just being able to change the game at a click of a finger. You know, he was just naturally fucking good at football. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely gutted to lose him, but we knew this day would come. I think the realists amongst us. The The fee, as reported there, 58 million euros, which equates to around about 50 million quid, I think, plus add-ons up to 67 million euros, which is around about just short of 60 million, I guess. What do we think? Are we happy? What do we do? I mean, I for one, I think I'm happy we got it done at this stage. We didn't sell him on the last week of the transfer window. We can, you know, look at replacements. I know that some of the money, if not the majority of it, is pretty much spent. We are looking at other targets, and we'll come on to that in a moment. But look, he wants to go. We wanted 65 million for him, I think, was the quoted fee that we said in English pounds. We've probably got 58 after add-ons. If we get the other add-ons, it's a 7 million drop. It's not our money. We can now potentially look at the other targets that we've got and go after them at an early stage early-ish stage, and get him out with the team. You know, that's the be all and end all. And Chris piped up here and mentioned something really, really important. The players we've lost two influential players. We've replaced those two with, is that 7 now? 7 signings, I think. This season,
5, 6, 7.
This season, we've got to take into account that we do need a better bench. We can't play the youngsters. We can't rely on those players. We've actually got the opportunity to make 5 substitutions as well this year, which is going to be really important, I think. So we want 5 players that are ready to play Premier League football. We don't want to be introducing youngsters into Premier League football again, albeit it worked quite well. Joffrey, Archie Gray, 1 or 2 others have had a good introduction. But realistically, we needed to strengthen particular areas, and to do that, we've had to, we've had to lose some. We've had to lose some. So, thoughts on the fee, then, Smarty? Give it me. Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you gutted? Are you a bit more realistic? Come on.
I'm good. Of course, I'm good. He's, like you say, he's one of the most exciting players I have ever seen, and definitely, obviously, in the last 20 years or so. Of course I'm gutted, but at the same time, it's like, well, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm gutted you're going, but fuck off. If you're trying to engineer your own move away from the club, then you're a fucking prick. I've seen a bit. I'm very disappointed. I am, and I feel exactly the same about Calvin Phillips as well. But I'll leave that because that's a completely different thing. But if you're engineering your own move out of the club, then you can go and fuck yourself, as far as I'm concerned. £49 million to £57 million. Am I happy with the fee? No, but I suppose if you're kind of holding the club hostage, which he has done, I don't give a fuck what anyone says, he has done. He's engineered his own move away to Barcelona. I suppose it's better than nothing, isn't it?
To Italy?
What? Barcelona?
To Italy, to Barcelona?
Huh?
No, I thought you said he engineered his move away to Italy to Barcelona. I thought, are you fucking pissed?
Away to
Barcelona. Look, there's 2 ways you can look at it in there. Look, we either hold on to him, don't get that fee. He then plays, arguably probably increases his value, but regardless of his value increasing, no matter how well he does, there's a year and a half left on his contract at the end of it.
Well, I know exactly. He's got club back bollocks on it, because you do if you don't, die if you do. It's one of them. Do we let him play on for another 6 months? Let him play and have an absolutely fantastic World Cup. It's a bit of a gamble. You'd probably receive the same kind of fee, given he'd only have 18 months left on his contract. Or he could have an absolute stinker and not be worth as much with 12 months left on his contract at the end of that season.
Or get injured.
Or get injured, even worse, and have a real shit sort of situation. So it's one of our. Yes, I'm sad he's going, but do you know what? I got to a point over the last few days where I've literally been that far away from muting the words transfer, Rafinha, Barcelona, Fabinho, fucking whatever his name is as well. He can fuck off.
Right.
I just want to see. I just want to see back of it now.
Yeah, I'm pretty much there, mate. I said the other day, I said, look, I'm fucking fed up of hearing about it now. Look, just sell him and replace him with somebody who wants to fucking be at the club for me. That's it. It's chalk and cheese. You mentioned about Rocker giving the option for a 2-week holiday, but he wants to get into the swing of things. He's got to Leeds. He's fucking, establishing himself around with the lads, and he's played that first game. He's been arguably, probably by the sounds of things, our most influential and important player within that game. Now, you look at that and you compare that to how Rafinha's behaving. Look, I love Rafinha and I think he's been great for us, but we know he's got that in him. We know he's got that spit his dummy out type attitude sometimes. You know, he has got that about him. Fantastic player. I'm not going to take it away, and I'll be forever thankful for the goals and actually getting to see him play live and things. But yeah, I think you're right in that. Look, he wants to move. I think he's been ill-advised by Deco, by the way. I think he's been really poorly advised.
He's a prick, I hope he does stand on a plug that bloke. Definitely.
How must you feel if you're Frankie de Jong or Gerard Piqué, who are owed over 35, 40 million pounds in wages between them, and they've just managed to stump up money to pay 50 million quid? Like, that just doesn't sit right with me. If I owe somebody money and then I go out on the piss and spend money on something else, that's pretty much what they've done. Do you know what I mean?
Sounds like Arbor.
You've got to remember that this is a club that are trying to create a European Super League, that they don't give a shit about the fans and people playing the money. You know, they give a shit about their own finances and everything else. It wouldn't surprise me if they end up in a bloody court battle with people that they pay, owe money to. They still owe more money to whoever they got frigging Firpo off.
Yeah.
Who did they buy Firpo off? They owe more money than we actually bought him for.
They still owe Liverpool for Coutinho.
For Coutinho, like 5 years ago.
Fucking hell.
And so people are like, "Oh, it's great that he's going. We're going to get so much fucking money." We're not going to get jack shit.
Apparently, we got it up front, didn't we?
We've got to get the majority up front.
I think we got 50 million up front, didn't we?
Look, Chris Thompson summarises it pretty well here. Look, 59, but Leeds fancy 71. Seen some players this time, but Rafinha's brought our club the biggest financial boost I've ever known.
Right,
Good luck to him. And at least it's not Chelsea. Look, we don't have to play him twice a season next season. Do you know what I mean? He's made the club 50 million plus add-ons if we ever get them.
Kid came, he's worked his bollocks off. He's done what he's done. He's kept us in league. He's got a penalty. He won penalty. He's kept us in league. You can't begrudge him going to Barcelona, can you, and playing Champions League football? No,
you can't, Danny. But I think as Leeds fans, we expect a little bit more.
Yeah, but that's just what I know. But we have to remember that we're not in 2001 in Champions League semi-finals anymore, are we?
Another
we
good
are
point.
going to be a stepping stone, unfortunately, aren't we? Until we. It's going to take.
Absolutely.
We're probably a decade behind that Champions League qualification places in Premier League. We're $1 billion in a decade, aren't we?
Yeah. Ultimately, the Leicester City model is about buying players,
That's
finding stars, and selling them on for a profit. And we are going to see a lot more players come and go over the years. And if Joffrey has a good season or two, I wouldn't be.
He'll go.
He probably will. He'll probably make us.
He can do. That's business now. That's business. Calvin Phillips. How can you stand Calvin's Champions? He's run his knackers off for club as Calvin Phillips.
Next year we're in Champions League, lads. Fucking
yeah.
Here we go.
It's the nature of the beast now, and it's how football is a business, in it. It's got to be, and every club is run to be profitable. I had an argument, probably I'd call it, rather than a conversation, but we ended up with the most recent accounts that were released. We ended up 5 million in profit. And the only reason we ended up 5 million in profit was because Rad writ off a massive loan or a massive. Now we need to be seen. I've got people saying, "Where's all the money gone from staying up and the TV rights?" The club's wages and salaries are, I think, reported 108 million before this season. Now that's just fucking berserk. And you got to think
you don't make money. Businesses don't make money, Minch. I'm saying with my company, you don't make money because your business runs to its means. You live. It's like all my mates say. They all think you're loaded because I see you abroad all the time. But it's because I live a lifestyle to my means. You know what I mean? If that's what the football club does.
Of course they do. Yeah.
Means. A footballer lives in a multi-million-pound house because he earns a lot of money.
Yeah.
There's not profit there anymore.
That's the kind of the point I was trying to make a couple of times as well, Dan. Was that regardless of the fee we're getting, providing it's spent on targets that we don't overpay for, that we value them at a certain price. It's all literal. It doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
We might value Raf at 60 million. We got 50 between 50 and 57 for him. Now, if we are going after a couple of targets that we'll come on to in a minute, but we actually underpay by our means or by our valuation, then we've actually done really well out of that money. And it's not just about FIFA 22 funding and champ manager. That's not how real life works. There's a lot more to it. And there was a tweet earlier that I liked, and it pretty much summed it up summed it up in one. I'll try and find it in a minute. But yeah, I mean, he has brought some real excitement and fun.
Yes.
And I can't remember a better player in between that Judas bastard and him. I mean, I struggle to find anybody. Can you think of anybody who might have been better?
Not apart from Pablo, a good one. Eh? Pablo's been a good player.
Different level though. Rocky.
I don't know. But yeah, transfers. It's like when you go out and buy a car. When you buy a football player, you don't whack out money up front, do you? It's over 5 years, and they pay so much a year, don't? Then there's bonuses and blah blah blah. It's like Leeds. Leeds probably still.
Rafa's leaving.
I can guarantee you now that if you sort paperwork from when we signed Rafinha, I bet we owe Ren's money. We won't pay for Rafinha yet. That's how business works.
Yeah. This was the tweet anyway. We don't know the fee. We're not entitled to know it. We don't know the ins and outs, but we think we can all do better than the millionaire businessmen do while we deliver someone else's shopping for a living, which is pretty much spawned. Right. You know. Now, just one thing that you mentioned there on owing money for Firpo and everything else. Do you think that they might have offset that to some of the fee that Barcelona are paying?
Probably.
Because I think, did we pay 14 or 17 million for Firpo?
14, I think. So that's how it works, doesn't it? It's like people are saying that him who we've signed from Leipzig, that Tyler Adams, I reckon that some of that that Kevin Augustine money's in there, don't they?
Yeah, well, good point. Good
point.
It's worth thinking about, isn't it? Worth thinking about. Oh, Gilly's here, look. Fuck Raf, fuck Calv, mercenary bastards. Hey.
I agree with Chris, though, about that Sinister.
Yeah, Sinistera. Yeah, we'll come on to him in a minute. We've obviously all seen a few clips and things about him and reports. I was interacting with some Feyenoord. He came from Feyenoord. Yeah, some Feyenoord fans, and they were saying, look, he was our MVP. They call him. I mean, the Dutch are a bit weird, so they called him our MVP from last season, most valuable player, and they wished him well and everything. There were good sports about it, but. Yeah, they said that he's really, really good attacking. He'll have to do a little bit more defending at Leeds because they've got a real good, strong attacking side in a pretty shitty league, to be fair. But yeah, that they were excited to see him playing in the Premier League. So on that, then Sinistera's right-footed. He's obviously a left winger in Marsh's style, or left central attacking midfielder. However, we see it lining up. Now, do we see him? Who do we see moving over to the other side? Then is Harrison probably going to be a right winger?
Nah, play James, don't you? You want James's pace. He'll be a different player than him.
But then we've got two right. Then we've got two right-footed. Can you imagine him doing that?
He might play Addison behind.
Why they play him right wing? Never played a right wing. You can cut him on his left. You're talking about Sinistera.
Yeah,
Sinistera's a left wing. He's right footed.
Yeah, I'm left footed. I've played him right wing before.
No. He's a left winger, but right-footed left winger.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. Cuts in onto his right foot. Right. That's why he plays there.
Sorry, I had it all the way around. I was just reading some comments then.
I'd play James, me on right.
Yeah.
For his pace.
Yeah. We've obviously got. I mean, it's exciting to see so many good quality players coming in. You know, we've not even mentioned Aronson yet, who was great when I watched him play for America the other week. But yeah, And then we've obviously got a bit of money to play with as well, which is always a bonus. Hopefully, we've got a bit of money. Obviously, probably not that much when you do the sums. But yeah. So my feeling is that Harrison will probably start along with Sinistera on the wides and have them cutting in.
He might play Addison in 10 position, I think. I've got a feeling they'll play Addison there.
I think that's why Aronson.
There's some of the players that are coming into the team now that they bought that are there for that position.
I don't think that Aronson will start. I don't think he'll be a starter straight away. I think he'll be on bench.
Who's that?
Brendan Aronson. Yeah.
Nah, he will. He'll be starting.
I don't think he will.
Is that record fee?
I know, but I just don't. I've got a funny feeling that he won't.
Jesse Marsh loves him. He's American. He'll be starting. He's the son. He's the coach's son, Danny. That'll feel. He'll be captain and everything.
Goal kicker.
Yeah, goal kicker, player at year. There's a lot. Right, we'll just fly through some of these comments and then we'll come on to some transfer targets and things. But before we do come on to some comments, we will just play a short video.
CBD are a family company with a local shop feel and exist to continue to promote the obvious and immediate benefits of CBD products while keeping the cost to you, the consumer, as low as possible. You'll find multiple flavours available on our site, answers to frequently asked questions and suggestions on what is right for you, as well as a web form for you to get in touch. There's free delivery on orders over £50, and don't forget to use the Auto Know Better discount code of OKB10 for 10% discount of all products. Lastly, a portion of all profits will be donated to mental health charities.
There we have it. There we have it.
Good talking that lad.
Thinks it's Pablo Escobar, doesn't he?
Yeah. Cool. Let's just refly. I'm just going to scroll back up a little bit because I know I missed quite a few comments there. On a lighter note, the problem Leeds have always had, they never replaced Brolin. Great shout.
What's the name? Better Mark Viduka.
Yeah. Carl and Gilly were too busy to join us tonight, yet they're fucking commenting more than everybody else.
What's more shocking is Carl's actually using his own account for a change and not using OKB stuff.
It's Twitter he's not allowed on, isn't it?
Yeah, he's been banned. He's a bad lad.
Great chat, lads. Time to go. Have fun. Cheers, Chris. Thanks for coming. Tom mentioned something earlier. Christensen looks like he's going to do some damage earlier. I missed one of Tom's comments earlier about the sell-on fee for from Rennes. Do you reckon? Has anybody heard if there's any sell-on fee with that when we bought Raf from Rennes? We don't think so.
I don't think so.
You only usually incorporate that when they're really young players, don't they? Really?
Yeah.
I think it's only to a certain age you're allowed to stick in a sell-on fee, not when they're 27, 28-year-old.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but I don't think that's the case.
Cool. Whose dog's barking?
That's my little dog. I'm going to go boot
kick
it in a minute.
I'm only kidding. Don't kick it. We do not condone kicking dogs. We do condone. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, whatever it means. A fucking beast, him.
Yeah. We beat quite a lot of sides just on Christensen. We beat quite a lot of sides to his signature, I think. And I think he's. Oh, hello, Smarty. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be important for us this season. At Carl, at Chris, bye. Before I go to bed, now you said that, Sinisteria has a right foot too. Seen it in loads of clips. He's right-footed, Chris. Yeah, that's what we're saying. He plays on the left, but he's right-footed. Tom, did you see him firing that medicine ball like it was a piece of paper? Who was he talking? Christensen. They must have been watching the gym, the training sessions and that. It's like
some serious Ralph Lundgren vibes, and he's probably
he's a proper Viking. You can imagine him just
a proper nut job, doesn't he?
You can imagine him, walking up onto a beach and doing loads of pillaging, just running around, just robbing people and that. Walking down a street like techno Viking with like
best thing is and all though is it looks a big beast, but it didn't have something like fucking most assists in Champions League or something last season, one at stats or something.
Something stupid. I remember.
Most assists or something for goals. Or
Alisson and Martin made a great point here. We're getting players now. There's a constant argument on Twitter and a constant disagreement between fans that we're not signing Premier League experience, Premier League quality, Premier League anything. And my argument and my response to every single one of those idiots is nobody starts in the Premier League with Premier League experience. Whether they come through youth setup, whether they've been brought from abroad, regardless. And I even went to the trouble of bringing together a list of players who play for City who've had no Premier League experience, who've been absolute world beaters, and then compared that to a scums list of who they bought with Premier League experience: Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Fellaini, and I went on, and it basically just rubbished the rumour. But look, it's good to have a bit of Premier League experience if you've got the money to pay an extra 20 million on top of a player, and ultimately that's what it is. You pay a high premium for that, and look, all these signings will not work out for us. They won't. There'll be one or two that are even more that aren't a success. That that we might get on the back, and they might become the new Tyler Roberts, or that type of player, and they might have a poor game or two here and there. But when you consider what we're looking to do, the value is there outside of England. So buying players with the Premier League experience just simply isn't. When you look, James Tarkowski signed 130 grand a week, 5-year deal at 29 years old at Everton. 130 grand. 5 years.
I thought Everton was skint, even though they're having a new stadium built and stuff. But
dog shit and all this.
People have got short memories, aren't they? I mean, the whole of our squad when we were promoted didn't have Premier League experience.
Good point. Good point.
Good point. And I mean, granted they were under Bielsa, and they played a similar sort of well, exactly the same sort of style of football as we did in the Championship, but none of them had Premier League experience. And like you say, if you're willing to go and spunk 20 million extra on a player that you can get, in Spain or in France, Belgium, wherever, for 20 million less, then why would you?
Well, look at the value in Mocker already. I mean, we've already said how good he is, and I've read a number of reports from people who watch La Liga and Bundesliga regularly, who've the feedback, and they couldn't believe that we'd signed him.
Get him piping up Pablo did, yeah, but 5 or 10 years before, fucking hell, Carl. Obviously, there might have been one or two. Christ.
He was shit in Premier League with Pablo and all when he played for Swansea.
Yeah, well, they were all shit, to be fair, with Swansea.
They were a flop.
Next one, all about the Adams. I think that means the surname. Tyler Adams, probably on the back of the shirt for Alisson and Mike this year. Tell you what, just on that, actually, while we're on it, one thing I am really liking about these new signings in the squad is their I mentioned it on Twitter, their their online social media presence and their positivity. And I think you were chatting to Tyler Adams the other day, telling him how to speak Yorkshire. Were you, Smarty?
Yeah.
Did he reply, or were you just talking to yourself?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, fucking shit out.
So yeah, look, it's and another thing I mentioned was that whilst they're stills and we cannot, anybody can make a picture look pretty attractive and good. We've seen that with a number of filters and some of the girls and boys about that filters do work, but they look really united. They look united. They look like they're happy. They
you need to be careful saying that word on here, man.
You do as well, mate. They look Leeds United. But yeah, look, they look happy. And I think they genuinely like Jesse Marsch. I think I do. And I think I said this last season that, look, we've seen players running around like headless chickens because of the situation we were in. We'd been brought in. They'd learnt Bielsa's style over the last 3 years and then been told to basically forget all they know and play this new style and run around like fucking headless chickens. And they didn't know how to do it. And luckily, we did enough with the squad that we had there to be able to stay in the Premier League. And I think we'll see a completely different Leeds United this season. I think it'll be much more, as I said earlier, controlled and disciplined in what we do.
I think we said it enough times towards the end of last season that, he deserves his chance to, have his summer, get his summer out of the way, get the transfer business done, bolster the squad, and then go again and then see what he's all about. A lot of people, including myself, had written him, not necessarily written him off, but were giving him some pelters last season about the style of football and stuff. But, we all came together, didn't we, and said, give him the benefit of the doubt and let him, have a fair crack of the whip. And it looks, and hopefully it'll prove everyone wrong.
Do you still think then? You made a bold claim last season towards the end of the season. Do you still think you're gonna live this one down? Do you still think he's gonna be sacked by Christmas? You said Jesse Marsch will be sacked by Christmas. Ask me.
Tell you what, give me 5 games. Give me 5 games.
No, I'm going to ask you now, and then I'll ask you again in 5 years.
All right, then. I'm going to say yeah.
It's weird why Corberan's coming back, innit?
Is he definitely coming back?
There's rumours, isn't there? One of my mates in Huddersfield, he were on about it today.
Corberan.
Yeah, I've seen that. I don't know if there's any. I don't know if there's out in that, mate. I don't know.
He's going from a first team manager coach at Huddersfield who had a good season.
He's been promised something, hasn't
he? I think he might have been promised something, but I don't think it's by Leeds United. I think people just go, "Ooh, we'll just clutch at a few straws here, there, and everywhere." It's like the frigging what's his name, Charlie Taylor rumours. Oh, he's coming back to Leeds.
No, I won't take him back.
No, do you know what I mean? Though people just throw stuff out there, and people
throw enough shit and it sticks, and that's the problem with social media now. You get one little. We could start a rumor on here tonight, and people would be talking about it, and then all of a sudden it'd gather pace, and fucking before you know it, Fabrizio's fucking saying that we're signing me for 60 million quid. All right, maybe not me.
They might be something at moon, mate.
I'll show my ass on clock. Town Hall clock if Brendan Aronson doesn't start. He'll be starting. I think he's a man-made 10. He'll be in there, no doubt.
We'll see.
Hey up, lads, how we doing? Good, Robson, how are you? Carl, thank you. You saw it was £8.5 million. What's that for?
Don't know. We're going back a good 5 or 10 minutes there.
Yeah. Robson Villa just tweeted, Def off to Barca fees. Yeah, we've got that. Evening, Nelly. More importantly, Gilly, how's your new shower head going? I think that might have been me. But yeah, Gilly's an uglier version. I've got to go, lads. Come on. Ramos Christensen has the attributes. It's Rasmus, isn't it? Rasmus Christensen has the attributes of a young Robert Molinar. Oof. We do like Robert Molinar. We do like Molinar on here. We do like the Terminator. He's been on. He's a friend of the show.
Yeah,
He's a friend of the show. Hi, Pablo did. Yeah, we know. Ha. 20 million will be banged on their value straight away. It's good business. Okay, I don't know what that means. Love the interaction.
When we were talking about, homegrown talent, sort of British players, getting
good point. Yeah. How do you think the old guard players are feeling now about the end of the BL series and the beginning of the new? Good question. I think they probably struggled towards the end of last season with it happening when it did. But they've had obviously a lot longer now with Jesse. Got to know him, his new, as we keep saying, his new style, how we're going to play and everything. How would you feel about it? If it's only like, I suppose, you go into work and you're getting on really well with your gaffer, and then actually your gaffer getting sacked, and then you have a new gaffer coming. It's natural, isn't it, not to like him based on your love for a previous. I'm not going to say love for a previous man, but love for a previous, boss or whatever, or school teacher, whatever it is. It's only natural, but I think as time goes on and trust builds, things can only get better. Is my my view of that. I don't know what do you
have to
think?
Remember that footballers are different to us, aren't they? It's their job. It's our hobby. It's their job, isn't it? That's why.
Yeah, they're all coming together for the same objective, aren't they? Collectively, they're going forward and pushing for the same sort of outcome. And Jesse Marsh came in, and apparently everyone took to him straight away. And he seems like a really nice bloke and whatever.
Says all the right things, doesn't he?
Says the right things. Seems to instill that kind of togetherness. So you don't know, do you? But they seem to like him. Seems like a good enough bloke.
How do you think Luke Ayling feels?
Well, poor bugger's injured. He's
got Christensen, haven't you? You've got drama.
Look, it's still going to be important to have around, and we've since the podcast started, we said when we lost Berra, Pablo, Alioski, and somebody else I can't remember off the top of my head, but we lost them all, and we went to shit. Like we lost all those. I said Alioski, Berra, Pablo, Wassim Boy. And
he's still fucking there, him.
He's not. He's gone. And then we just seem to, when you lose that many influential figures, whether they're natural leaders as well, and people like Berra who'd literally he'd kill somebody for you, wouldn't he? And you lose players like that, and it just. I don't know. Just
players like Luke Ayling and your Stuart Dallases and people like that are still going to be needed around the team. Yeah, they are. The big characters are big important people. Yeah. Cooper exactly the same. That old guard that people that throw out there and stuff like that is absolutely crucial. Because
I completely agree.
Over time, these players will be replaced but the players that have come in, kind of at the same sort of time, maybe a season after, they'll be the old guard, and it's just a constant, repetitive feed of players coming in and coming out. But you can't just completely get rid of everyone because you just lose your personality within the club. It'll be just completely different.
It almost lose your identity as well, don't you? I mean, it's all good and well selling your Dallases on and your Aylings for a few million here and there, but ultimately they're worth more to the club than for him to go play at a decent championship side because of that experience and because of that experience we spoke about only earlier about Premier League experience. Now they are
it's embedding them into the culture of the club as well. That's massively important. You players like, well, again, Cooper, Dallas, Ayling, all the other older lads. They've been there. They get leads. They know the city, they know the area, they know the fans. It's about bringing these new players in and instilling that in them as well. Because say you just got rid of everyone overnight and brought a completely 25-man squad in, they wouldn't know anything about Leeds United apart from what they'd read in papers, maybe watched an Amazon frigging documentary on us. They wouldn't know, they wouldn't feel that. And it's from the other players, that older guard, putting that, and getting that into their heads, straight from the bat, really. And that's massively important as well.
Yeah, spot on. Alison and Marty, let's see how the season goes. Happy with 12th or 13th? Yeah, I'll snap your hand off now for 12th or 13th, I think. Is he for Sunderland? Who are we talking about for Sunderland? Oh, probably Corberan. I'm really happy with this window so far. We're going to come on to a little bit more about this in a second. Exciting times. Left back, experienced goalkeeper, and a centre forward. Then it's a brilliant window.
I agree with that.
Carl was on about selling clause 8.5 million for Rennes. Apparently, I think he was on about. Well, I'm sure we'll probably do a little bit more investigating. Right. Okay. So now we've obviously tonight only just sold Raf, so we've obviously got a few quid to play with. There's talk of Charles de Kekletere, or whatever his name is, who has his heart set on Milan. And then the only other forward I've seen as linked with is Kinham Wenlow or something like that from Paris Saint-Germain.
That Gakpo, I think we'll get that Gakpo, mate.
This is the problem when you don't actually sign British players, and you've got to try and pronounce other foreign players on podcasts and stuff, and you just end up looking like a bit of a dipstick.
Just going blah, 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 blah. Callum Wendo. Callum
Wendo.
Yeah. AC Milan have obviously increased their bid for Charles de K. And there's talks of Callum Wendo, and I've even seen today, I don't know if anybody else has seen it, I've seen the name Ben Brereton Diaz being resurfaced as well.
So
now Ben Brereton Diaz isn't Ben Brereton Diaz, it's just Ben Brereton, and he had a Diaz on his name so he could play for Chile because he's got some heritage from, like, I don't know, his mum's side or something like that. So yeah, let's talk. I mean, obviously the preference.
Allison, what?
I would take Danny Ings. I'd take Danny Ings.
Give over, man.
I'd take Danny Ings.
You're not getting another Patrick Bamford, so you're going to sign a bloody old man to come and play second.
No, you want him from Feyenoord? You want from PSV? That bloody Gakpo? That's who you want to sign.
Yeah, you want someone young. You want someone young and spriteful to come in and challenge for the top spot. Not some. I mean, don't get me wrong. Ings is a good player, and he has been a good player over years. But we don't want to
going backwards, signing people like that.
So we might as well get Chris Wood. He's younger.
I know.
Only as good.
Yeah, that's funny you should say that. There was a rumor on there the other day about Chris Wood, and I was like, "Fuck that."
Yeah, I don't want him either.
No, absolutely not.
Get Ross McCormack. Give him a ring. See what he's up to.
I'd rather just let Gellart have a go.
Exactly. Yeah. Paris Saint-Germain, I believe, have just signed another striker as well.
Yeah, they have. Which or something it's called.
That's him, and that obviously puts Callum Wendo further down the pecking order. I have a feeling we'll get him. I think we'll get.
He's a beast. Him. He's all right.
Yeah. He looks exciting. He's a big lump, and he looks like he caused some real problems. One other name as well in terms of the centre forward that I've seen mentioned today is Joshua Zirkzee of Bayern Munich. I don't know if anybody knows much about him.
No.
Yeah. No. You might as well be talking frigging Swahili to me because I've never heard of him. And I'm telling you now, until someone says, "Oh, we're linked with him," that is exactly when I go on YouTube. I search their names and I go, "Oh, you see the welcome to Leeds, blah blah blah, whatever his name is," and I'll watch their highlights. And then in that 12 seconds before I get bored, I'll make up my mind whether he's good or not. That's because I'm a typical Leeds fan, and that's what I am.
Right. Well, Joshua Zirkzee is a big lad, and he's relatively young. I think he's early 20s, or even maybe 20, and I think he's Dutch national. I can't remember anyway, but he's exciting. He looks a good player. He's been at Bayern. So look, I think it's nice. Can you imagine 5 years ago being in a position as a Leeds fan to say that we've actually had to play a bit of hardball with Barcelona and sign out one of our players? It's the stuff dreams are made of, and we've got to just take a breath sometimes and realize, like Danny said earlier on tonight, that we're not at the level that we think we are as Leeds fans. As much as we all love to be, and we're all optimists, and we've all got dreams and stuff. We've got to appreciate that we're going to be signing players that are going to be excited for each season or two. But if they do well, we're gonna make money on them. To do the same again in a few years' time. So yeah. Just on the players we have signed, then, who excites you guys the most, and who do we think will be most pivotal for us? I'll start with you, Dan.
I think Brocker.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, any particular reason other than what you've seen him with the other night? Is that just because you've seen him play and not the others?
No, I've known him. I knew him from before I went to Bayern Munich. I put my head on chopping board and I said this, but I think he's a bit of an upgrade on Calvin Phillips, and that's being honest. He's that brutally honest. I do,
Right.
especially in that Marsh system. Not saying he would in a Bielsa system, but in the Marsh system, getting ball where we're getting ball, keeping possession, making things tick. I think he suits it down to the ground. I think he's a brilliant signing.
Interesting. Very interesting, and especially when you look at the quality in Tyler Adams, who was signed to go to play side of him. It was a little bit more of a, shall we say, a bit more of an 8, who probably gets a little bit more of a box to box type player.
He's a ball winner, isn't he?
Yeah, a bit of a ball winner. He enjoys a challenge in that.
Full of energy.
So that will give Rucker a bit more, hopefully, breathing space and allow him to do the things that he's good at, which is obviously picking a good pass and having a bit of room and dictating the tempo of the game. Smarty, who are you most excited to see a bit more of?
I'm looking forward to seeing Sinisterra myself. He's the direct replacement for Rafinha. He is. They've got him in before he's even left. But yeah, he makes people look like knobheads on a weekly basis. And so I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing Rocker as well, like Dan said. Yeah, he looks the real deal, that lad. In fact, all of them really. I'm really looking for. I think we've done really well in this transfer.
That's been a good window, hasn't it? Really,
I think arguably probably been our best window for a long time. Well, we haven't seen him. I mean, we haven't seen him play yet. I mean, we might be jumping the gun a little bit. It might be slightly premature. But based on the quality and the caliber of candidates that we've got coming in and replacements in terms of strengthening the squad with the 5 subs and everything, I think it's been a really sensible window from the board and the players were signed.
I remember saying similar, obviously on here or anything, in a pub, like the good old days. I remember when Chilino came in and we'd signed like Bianchi and Belushi and all them lot. And Dakar and a few other players. I thought, this has been a great window. We
signed 20-odd players that window, though, didn't we?
Bianchi looks the bollocks, but,
Zach Benedict as well from AC Milan. We signed him.
Yeah, no, it looks good. He's looked good.
That Thomas Bianchi, man, he had potential to be a right player, didn't he?
It did look the absolute dog's dingle dangle.
Same with Belushi.
Looked good. And
when we signed Belushi at centre half, I thought, fucking hell, good centre half. This lad, bit of a tough nut, and he was fucking shite and all.
We had like Tom Lees and fucking Jason Pearce and shit.
Fucking Luke Murphy,
Scott Wotton,
Scott Warren. Fucking hell.
You want a good layer on there.
Yeah, I think I'm genuine. I think I'm most excited about Brendan Aronson. I think from what we've not had an attacking midfielder since Pablo left. We've not had anybody who's been able to do that job. We've tried Rodrigo in there. We've played a few players in there. And it's just not, Roberts. It's just not clicked. It's been a position that we've needed since Pablo left, and we haven't strengthened until this window. So I think he's going to be the missing piece in great that we're strengthened in alternative areas as well, but he's going to be important to us in certainly in the system that I expect us to play. Definitely. Couple more quick questions. Do you think we're signing any more players before the season? Sell any more players? Sorry, do I think we're going to sell any more players?
Rodrigo might go to Galatasaray.
Nah,
there's a rumor, isn't there?
Would people be upset with that?
Not really, because I don't know, because I won't give up on Rodrigo. I quite like him, When Jesse Marsh came in, I thought he was a lot better.
He was. Mm-hmm. He suited Marshall's style a bit more.
What we have to remember is, right, everybody was slagging Danny James off as well, but we haven't seen Daniel James playing his correct position. Patrick Bamford dragging defenders here, there, and everywhere, creating space. You know what I mean? We haven't been playing to Dan James' strength. He's a good player, is James. If he'd have been at Man U last season, if he'd have stayed at Man U, he'd have been up there. You know what I mean? He'd have been one of their better players with James.
Yeah.
Dan James's strength, stick him on the halfway line when we've got a defensive corner.
Fucking run. But to be fair, he puts shits up defenders, doesn't he?
He does. Hey, I love his style. Committed. Put a foot in.
He's a right player. Me and my mate went to Crystal Palace game at Ellen Road at West Stand. And I was sat watching him. A fucking right game he had against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Right game he had.
Yeah. Just going back then, selling any more players. Do we think there was obviously a couple of murmurs of Harrison going to Newcastle?
Can't see that.
And obviously Leif Davis and a couple of others youths going out.
Yeah.
Cresswell and Shackleton both gone to Millwall.
They're
on
off to
loan,
Millwall, aren't they? I think Davis will go, won't he?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if they let Clarkson go out on loan to get a bit of
experience. He's gone to Australia as Leif Davis, hasn't he? He's travelled.
Yeah, he's gone on a trip on Jesse Marsh says, to be fair, he says he likes him, doesn't he? He said he's got a good attitude.
Yeah, he does. And Darren Hooker be Mark too.
He's a good player, this James. Telling you,
Danny, if you could read the pod chat and what Gilly puts in there, you'd think he'd never watched a game of football in his life.
Good fucking player, Dan James.
I'll tell you what I like most about Dan James is he'll absolutely battle tooth and nail.
He'll run his bollocks off for you for a full 90 minutes.
Fight with everything he's got, and you can't buy that. You cannot buy that.
I tell you what, I watched back the free surfaced on Twitter the other day was his challenge against Chelsea on Kovacic. Never a bloody red card.
I remember obviously watching that live, and I'm like, "What? That's just a good tackle." Thinking, it was a Struick on what's his name, Harvey Elliott sort of style. But when you look back, you just think, "Fucking hell!"
He didn't have snap.
Could have really,
Yeah, so I mean, look, plenty to look forward to. We're over in Australia. We play Brisbane. Is it on Sunday morning? Or Monday morning? What day is it? It's really early anyway in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning.
It was Thursday for some reason.
It's not. It's about. I think when I looked at fixtures on my app, it said 1 hour 16.
July the 14th.
So it must be
Thursday. Yeah, July the 14th. It is. It's Thursday morning.
Thought it was Thursday. Yeah, I was thinking we play Thursday. Then do we play Sunday against Villa?
Yeah, and then on the following Friday against Palace. Yeah. So look, they're going to be a bit more of a challenge, maybe than Blackpool. So we'll probably see, and we'll see a lot more of the newer players as well, which will be quite exciting. I'm looking forward to it. And look, I think we've got to be realistic as in summary. We've got to be realistic, but also optimistic as well. We've lost our best two players on paper, but when you look at how the squad needed strengthening, we can only be positive, can't we? Surely.
Yeah.
Agreed.
We'll be signing another striker and maybe a left back.
Yeah, I think they're important. I think we do definitely need a striker. Obviously, Paddy's made of plastic, and I think if I was being greedy, a left back as well.
I think a striker and a goalkeeper for me is probably most important.
With the goalkeeper, we've just got. Has Casilla travelled with him?
No, Casilla's gone.
I don't think he's been back in country, has he? He's a fucking clown, is that bloke?
Yeah, he's a clown.
Fucking hell, used to watch him in warm-ups, man. I don't think I saw him make a fucking save. Honestly,
mascots were scoring free kicks past him.
Diabolical. They brought fucking Lucas Copcat on, and he was scoring against him.
People doing easy penalties.
Fucking
dizzy penalties. Pissed up bullocks scoring Rabonas past him and that. Brilliant. Right, I think that's enough. I mean, we'll probably get together again in a couple of weeks' time. Danny, thanks ever so much for joining us. Really appreciate you jumping on, mate. Smarty, as ever, it's been a pleasure. Just one thing before we do go, we have got a Leeds United shirt that we are going to. We're going to raffle it. No, we're not even going to raffle it. We're just going to sell it to the highest bidder. We got it signed by Clicky last season, and obviously with everything that went on and unsurety of what league we were going to be in, we didn't know what to do with it. It's the white shirt from this season just gone. It's Click signed it. If you want to put a bid in for it, all the money's going to go to charity. Likely going to be something that the trust support and potentially the foundation as well. So yeah, if anybody wants to put a bid in on that shirt, you can either drop us a DM. We'll get some pictures on the podcast.
I'll start bidding at 200.
Fucking brilliant! Yeah, we'll take that bid. Cheers, Dan.
200 quid. Cheers, Dan.
Basically, we've sold it tonight. So yeah, bidding starts at £200 for our guest tonight, Dan Chapman. Thank you, Dan, for that. And yeah, we'll just keep it up to date. We'll probably I mean, probably finish the bidding in 10 days' time, maybe after the Palace game, and we'll announce who the winner is. You can either DM us, or if you want to put a bid in on the bottom of the thread, we'll start a thread today. If anybody does want to have a look at that, and yeah, it's all for charity. So yeah, thanks ever so much for supporting whatever charity we decided for it to go to, but also the pod as well. So yeah, thanks ever so much, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't already, hit like and subscribe. And yeah, let's look forward to a few pre-season games, a couple of beers and stuff. Maybe not on Thursday morning before work, but maybe before work. Maybe before work. But yeah, thanks ever so much, guys. Anybody else anything to say before we go?
Nope.
Nope. All done.
Good. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.
See you later.